Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, vote buyers defy EFCC, ICPC, offer voters cash, rice, Garri, clothing, among others. In the course of the program, we take up questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with proper names and are about the issues discussed. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's good to see you, BQ.
Good to do this with you again.
Right, welcome back from the north.
Thanks.
Right, very quickly. Tension was high at the Oji Town Primary School in Owerri North as vote-buying allegations nearly marred the governorship election at the scene, or the center. The PDP, Dino Melaye, also, that's the PDP governorship candidate in the Kogi state election, also said that it wouldn't vote until result sheets were displayed for him to see, but then he later voted. But do you find this revelation of pre-filling of result sheets strange?
No, I am not in any way surprised. I know that in the last 5-6 years, our politicians have taken vote buying to another level, and they believe that that is their best guarantee to win an election. So that is why they are devising all kinds of methods to buy the votes of the electorate. I will tell you something that happened. Some Nigerians based abroad wanted to support the governorship candidates, and they reached out to one of his foot soldiers. And then the foot soldier said they should not give him money, but that they could support him, support his principal in any way that they deemed fit. And what they did was simply to go and buy Ankara, what we call wrappers, 6 yards each. They bought so many, and when they, on election day today, what they were doing was give people 5,000 naira and 6 yards of Ankara, because they've discovered that simply giving people money was not enough. In a very competitive election, politicians use all kinds of methods. So they are not limiting themselves to simply distributing cash to our people. They now give them Garri, rice, clothing, and other things. These days, the vote buying actually begins some days before the election. In the name of doing house-to-house a campaign, they go around distributing food items to people and reminding them that they needed to vote for certain candidates. There was this Osun election that came just before Ileya, and they gave some households cows just to buy their conscience, buy their votes ahead of election day. So going back to what I was saying, what they were doing is INEC permits people to be guided, especially when you claim that you are illiterate. The person buying your vote wants to be sure that you actually voted for him. So people who are learned, people who are literate will claim that they did not know who to vote for. Someone will now appear to be guiding you in voting the party of your choice. But that person is actually verifying if you indeed voted for his candidate. So once you vote for his candidate, they will then point you in the direction of a house where you will be given 6 yards of cotton and 5,000 naira. In fact, some have gone to the point of even issuing coupons to people. They give them coupons. We saw what the candidate of the PDP in the governorship election in Ogun State did, where preloaded ATM cards were distributed to voters, already preloaded. He's been put on trial now for that. So today, ICPC and the EFCC, they were out, the soldiers were out, policemen were out, but vote buyers still had a field day. The way it is in our country, no matter how popular you are, you may not be able to win an election if your foot soldiers didn't join them in buying votes. It's becoming clear now. Politicians vote hefty sums of money to buy votes on election days. Some start giving out the money like 4 or 5 days to election, because it's extremely a tough competition now between them to buy the voter. And they put structures in place that enables them to verify that the person they are going to give money to actually voted for them. They have their agents all around. Pushes ahead with the reform of our electoral process. We must find a way to stop vote buying, because politicians are simply weaponizing poverty in our country. They know that our people are poor. They know that our people will find it difficult to get money in this difficult time. So they are weaponizing poverty. They are the ones who have triggered poverty in our land. They are the ones who have pauperized our people. Now they are weaponizing that poverty by way of vote buying on election day. So this is something that all decent Nigerians, all Nigerians who want real progress to happen in our country must fight against. We have to find a way to defeat this habit of politicians to buy people's votes on election day. What should determine whether you win an election is what you plan to do for people, is the trust that people have in your capacity to deliver, not how much money you can offer on election day to buy their conscience. A person who does not know where his next meal will come from, it will be difficult for that person not to accept money being offered on election day by politicians. It will be difficult. Let's tell ourselves the truth. So we have to push ahead with electoral reform that leads us to defeating this idea of vote buying, because it is now something extremely embarrassing in the manner in which politicians are doing it. And they're not even limiting it to election days anymore. They commit so much money to buy votes. Commit so much money to buy votes, because they believe that it's the person who offers the most money to voters on election day that will carry the day. So you can see what is happening in Igbo State, in Kogi, in Bayelsa. In Bayelsa, they offered Garri, they offered rice to people. I mean, it's a sickening reality. You've got to fight it. You've got to fight it. Because every year, they're coming up with new ideas. You can imagine if somebody distributed preloaded ATMs to voters on election day. Who knows what they will do next? Who knows? When it was difficult for them to find cash in Bauchi, when it was difficult for them to find cash during the last election, they were giving coupons to people to go and deliver at designated supermarkets and department stores to pick items that they had already paid for in advance. So they just give you that coupon. You go to the supermarket or the department store and then pick an item. That's vote buying, because they were very short on cash, thanks to Emefiele's utterly terrible naira repainting exercise that he called naira redesign. You know, but I still believe that we'll get there. I still believe that we'll get there. We should get there one day. We can't continue like this. We certainly can't continue like this.
Amazing. So most of the candidates commended the professionalism of the security agents, whereas I saw a trending video of a man who dressed in an NYC uniform and was killed by the soldiers for snatching a ballot, or allegedly snatching a ballot box. What does this say about how far we have come with our elections, security-wise, and also the performance of, the conduct of the INEC officials so far?
Yeah, it's a mishmash. In some places, INEC did very well, and they deserve to be commended. But in some cases, it's the same attitude of getting ballot materials to polling centers late. So I really don't get it. INEC in Kogi, INEC complained that it was sabotaged, because you see the logistics aspect of their work means they have to rely extensively on National Union of Road Transport Workers, to help them ferry ballot materials from location to location. INEC does not have its own vehicles to distribute material across the country, so they do this in partnership with the NURTW officials. Now they are complaining that they were sabotaged because everything had been put in place, yet materials were deliberately delayed from getting to certain locations, by the people that they had engaged to help them distribute these things. In many cases, they showed impartiality, and they have to be commended. But it is disturbing that people will be abducted because of election. It is disturbing that people will be killed because of election. In Kogi East, for example, an APC member was shot dead, because some people chose to make the election a life and death affair. Elections should not be life and death affair. It should be like carnival, a day of joy. It should not be taking lives because of an election, and we should not be abducting people because of election. That happened yesterday in Bayelsa State. So the security of INEC staff, whether ad hoc or full time, is of tremendous importance, and the armed forces must do their best to protect electoral officers at all times. Because once they are guaranteed of their safety, they'll be able to do their job dispassionately, although some of them who are compromised will still try to sabotage the process. But I think so far they've done well. When you look at, I thought that Imo, for example, would be a bloodbath, but what we have seen so far, the election largely has proceeded fine.
Right. So
it has not gone as terrible as some of us had thought it would be.
that's right. Looking at the IReF portal, I see that some of the states have been, for instance, I can't really lay my hands on this particular state, but then one of the states, we are seeing that the IReF portal is actually reacting. Okay, there's 65.41% upload of the votes cast so far, of the uploading of result sheets on IReF portal so far. So it looks like the IReF portal is, really functional as against the way it was during the 2023 general election. What do you make of this in terms of what INEC delivering on its mandate vis-a-vis the IReF portal?
Yes, INEC promised that it will ensure that the IReF portal works, and it's a good thing that they lived up to their promise. I want to believe that INEC didn't deliberately stop the upload of the presidential election results. I believe it's the handiwork of some politicians who paid some hackers to sabotage the upload of the election results. No one has been able to prove that INEC did it on purpose. And we saw INEC officials trying to upload the presidential election results without success. So I still believe to polling units. You can use that result to prove that you won an election. You don't need the IReF to prove that you won an election. After all, it is what is in from EC8A that they eventually will upload onto the election review portal. So there's so much noise about IReF. But we saw in Nasarawa State, the governorship candidate of the PDP brought results from polling unit to polling unit. Not IReF, not result uploaded on IReF. From EC8A, the results that their agents, duly stamped result that their agents submitted. And when they checked those results, they matched what was actually even uploaded on IReF. So it is important to have that result. If you have agents, and those agents are not doing something else on election day, they should be able to provide you with the results as duly stamped, duly signed by stakeholders at every polling station. You will need it when you get to court. That was what Natasha used. Natasha didn't rely or wait for IReF. And she was able to prove her case. She won 4 out of 5 local governments. She was able to prove that she was the rightful winner of the election using results duly tabulated on Form EC8A. I mean, this in my view is the most important thing. When you pay your agents, they should be able to provide you with all of those results. Put them together. You might need them when you get to court. You might need them. People saying courts will not determine our election. I heard Palano say courts will not determine the outcome of our election. When politicians willfully sabotage the process, somebody must step in and give the victory to the rightful winner. We're not seeing where, look at Peter Obi, for example. He was a victim of rigging, but the courts gave him back his mandate. What if we didn't electoral process? If the court didn't have the power, how would Peter Obi have become governor today?
Just let me take one or two comments here. Fabian Akaise says Yahya Bello at the gubernatorial seat of Kogi on a silver platter, and he has so far abused the office as governor. Nigerians, please be patient as we have a long way to go. Rashid says, until we make our politics less lucrative before we get it right. Nelson Adefe says, psychologist says poverty is an economic tool. As small as 1,000 naira is enough to buy votes on election day. However, President Bola Tinubu should do all he could to suppress poverty in Nigeria. Bala Shuaibu says, I'm watching from Kureken Sani. I love TVC. Well, thank you. Folashade Olanreye says, no election is perfect all over the world, but the issues of corruption and do or die affair is our problem. Unless there is electoral reform, separate money from politics, there is no way forward. BKO, there is a breaking news regarding what you said a little earlier, as regards the abducted INEC ad hoc staff or INEC staff that were abducted by, some of these, well, we call them miscreants or bandits or whatever. The Independent National Electoral Commission confirmed the release of the supervisory presiding officer abducted at Amasoma Jetty on Friday. Good news, would you say?
Yes. It's good news. It's good news, but it's terrible. You can't put people's lives in harm's way just because they've chosen to serve their country. The kind of things that happen during our election, they don't even happen in banana republics. They don't happen in countries that do not measure up to the stature of Nigeria. We have to clean up our electoral process. We have to be stunk by shame to the point that we can then tell ourselves that, look, enough is enough. We no longer tolerate this. Why would anyone kidnap an INEC official? Why would anyone threaten a youth core member with death? Because they've chosen to serve their country. They've chosen to work for their country on election day. These things have to stop. Police arrested 774 people for various electoral offenses in respect of the last general election. 774. And a little over 200 of them are going to be put on trial anytime from now. INEC pro bono. That's to tell you how terrible things are. Some of them snatched ballot boxes, some of them destroyed electoral materials, some of them connived with politicians to compromise the process. Sometimes INEC officials are neck deep in electoral corruption. We just have to do our best to change things. India, as big as India is, India uses both electronic and manual methods for its elections. People are shouting, asking for electronic voting and all that. Countries that are more advanced than us have both electronic and manual voting modules. We just have to keep improving, keep revolutionizing, keep reforming our electoral process until such a time that we can say our elections have become better. BVAS, in my view, has helped us to sanitize our electoral process. All those bogus numbers that we used to hear from some parts of the north, they are no longer happening. They're no longer happening. We saw Borno State, for example. Look at the votes that came from Borno State during the presidential election. In the past, it will have been over 1 million. That is BVAS. That's to tell you the effect of BVAS. So, as we brought in BVAS, we have to also try to introduce other electronic means of making our election. They don't work for the people, they will be disgraced out of office. But we have a situation in which people believe that they can win election whether the people want them or not. That has to stop. You must win election based on your appeal to the people. You have to market your ideas. You have to market yourself to the people.
That's right.
Before you can win an election. You shouldn't use violence to win an election.
That's right. Well, you've actually answered the question or the submission Folashade Olaronye made regarding BVAS, saying that it's an improvement in our election, unless unless we are being sentimental. I think you already spoke to that. Olugbe Ngabamdele says, I love TVC. They are fast in telling latest news from anywhere in Nigeria election. Thank you so much. That's what we're known for, first with breaking news. But I want you to react to Fabian Akaize's, submission. He says, when politicians get elected to office, rather than fight for the voters, they fight for their families and personal interest. He now said, I believe that Nigerians should protest by none of us participating in election or electoral process. Do you want to agree with him that no one should participate in election as a protest?
That people should stay away?
That people should stay away.
If you see, voter party was very commonplace in this election, today's election. A lot of the voters simply stayed away, and you cannot divorce that from the terrible situation Nigerians have found themselves. Nigerians are struggling to stay alive. So in such a situation, many of them are not motivated to go and vote. And people see these politicians as the same people. Look at people thought that, Labour Party members in the National Assembly, they are going to reject their chips. Have they rejected those chips? Abure, the Labour Party chairman, and Peter Obi thought they will reject their chips. Have they rejected them? They are not going to reject those chips. Before they joined the Labour Party, a lot of them were in the PDP. Is the PDP a party of saints? Before they joined the Labour Party, some of them were in ABGA. Is ABGA a party of saints? Before they joined the Labour Party, some of them were in the APC. They just saw the Labour Party as a special purpose vehicle to achieve their aims. And they saw that, in the Southeast, a lot of people were going the way of Labour Party. They decided to join Labour Party so that they too can benefit from that bandwagon effect. This is the truth. There's no, we can't be deceiving ourselves as if some people who are in the Labour Party that they represent something revolutionary, something unheard of in Nigeria. That is absolute bunkum. That's no big deal about them. They are not different from others. And they've shown it by even defying their own party and agreeing to collect those expensive SUVs. They are not going to listen to Peter Obi. They are not going to listen to Abure. None of them will listen to him. So our people are hungry, and for that reason, so many people stayed away from this election. Voter party, when you look at the number of registered voters, and you bounce it against the number of people that came out for this election, whether in Kogi or Imo or Bayelsa, the turnout is extremely low. I want to believe that when the people are happy, when the people are in high spirits, it will translate to greater turnout at elections. The people have not found any motivation to go and vote in today's election, and that's why many of them simply stayed away. And that's the way it is. But I do not think that our people should protest and refuse to take part in the electoral process. If you don't take part, some will take part, and those who take part will decide for you. It's as simple as that. You cannot say you are not going to take part in an election. No. There are other ways by which Nigerians can show their anger at the attitude of politicians. Reject them, reject those ones that are bad at the polls. Not stay away from election. This is my opinion.
That's right, Mikhail. So I think we actually coasting home, but then let me take Senator Dino Melai's post. I just saw it, his tweet, where he said INEC must cancel the election in the 5 local governments of Kogi Central, the election in Okene, Okehi, Ajaokuta, Adavi, and Ogori Mangogo. He said it's a scam coordinated from the highest level of INEC. What's your submission to these? Some people have actually, this followed, our conversation earlier, where Murtala Ajaka, a candidate in this election, said that, some of those result sheets have been pre-filled. So Senator Dino Melai also calling for the same, cancellation. This election, because we'll be seeing a lot of drama post-election, what are you, looking forward to seeing, post-election?
INEC said it was going to investigate the matter of result sheets being filled in advance. See, this thing is not a new thing. Let me tell you, and I've analyzed it on Journalist Hangout before. Politicians, despite all the security features that INEC puts on its form EC8A, the ultimate result sheet, politicians fake this result sheet. Politicians work with corrupt INEC officials. They will now go and fill in results. But with the vigilance of party agents, this cannot happen. So Dino's agents in the various polling centers should not accept a situation in which the outcome of the result is not reflected in the real result from the voting process is not reflected in the final analysis. They have to make sure that it is what transpired that they put there, that they sign. I know that in some cases, big parties buy agents of political parties and get them to agree to infractions that happened at their polling centers. But your agents must not agree to illegality. It's as simple as that. That's why you have agents, and you must have briefed them about the do's and don'ts, things that they should not tolerate. So this should be the approach. You cannot cancel election in 5 local government, for example, that means the result of the election in Central, Kogi Central, you can't cancel everything. It is where elections are characterized by overvoting, violence, and all that, that the results must not stand. Those are the results that must not stand and should be cancelled. But you cannot cancel an entire exercise. It's just, it makes no sense. They should find out polling centers where vote rigging took place. Those are the ones that it should call for cancellation, not the entire Ibira land, not an entire senatorial zone.
That's right. Final comment here. We're saying that a reason for voter apathy is how some losers discredit the results, even when they know the results were correct. Well, and that's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always, and welcome back to Lagos.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. We'll do this again next week, God willing. And thank you, our loyal viewers. I love you all. I love hearing your names. I love it when they read your comments. And it shows that you are there for us. Continue to give our best so that continue to stick with us.
That's right, and thank you to our audience for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG and also at Ibrahim TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.